In this video lecture, now we will start with the new chapter, chemical kinetics, right? So what do we mean by chemical kinetics? First we will understand this before we go ahead and deep dive into this chapter. Let's first understand the meaning of the chapter. Chemical here stands for reactions, chemical reactions, right? And kinetics, we know that kinetics means speed, right? Or when we measure speed with respect to time, right? So here kinetics is basically a word that is connected to the motion of bodies, right? So here when we talk about motion of chemical reactions, here we mean speed of chemical reactions, right? Basically here kinetics means speed, right? So speed. So now the meaning of this chapter comes out to be speed of chemical reactions, right? The meaning is speed of chemical reactions, right? So in this chapter, right, or we say in this branch of chemistry called chemical kinetics, we study about the whatever reactions we have studied till now, right, in our previous classes. If we concentrate at the speed of those reactions, right, how fast those reactions are taking place, or how can we make those reactions to occur at a high speed, or how can we lower down the speed of those reactions, right? In short, we say that the factors that affect the speed of chemical reactions, right, all these we study under a branch of chemistry known as chemical kinetics. So in short, we say that the branch of chemistry that deals with the speed of chemical reactions and the factors that can alter the speed of chemical reactions is your chemical kinetics, right? Now, so one thing is clear, the chapter meaning of the chapter chemical kinetics is speed of chemical reactions. So whatever we would be studying in this reaction would be related to the speed of reactions and the factors that affect the speed of reactions, right? And before these lectures, or before chemical kinetics, we have seen that we are using, somewhere we use catalyst to increase the speed of reaction, somewhere we increase the temperature, right, to increase the reaction, or somewhere we increase the pressure to increase the rate of reaction or speed of reaction, right? So all these factors, what we're doing in those reactions, these factors are increasing the speed of reaction, or these factors help the reaction to take place, right? So all these factors in short affect the speed of reaction, right? So all these comes under chemical kinetics. Now let's take a simple example and we will understand it in a more better way. Reaction of oxygen with carbon, iron and nitrogen, right? We know that reaction between carbon, right, or the burning of coal, if we say coal is nothing but carbon, right? So between coal and oxygen, coal is nothing but we know carbon, right? Reaction is explosive, right? Reaction between, because we know that coal burns very quickly, right? So reaction between carbon and oxygen is very fast, it's explosive in nature, right? Now if we talk about reaction between iron and oxygen, we have already gone through this when we studied rusting of iron, right? Rusting of iron, rust is hydrated ferric oxide, XH2O. This is your rust, hydrated ferric oxide, which is formed by the reaction of iron with oxygen in the presence of water vapor, right? It will form hydrated ferric oxide, right? This is the reaction between oxygen and iron, And what about if we look at the speed of this reaction? The speed of this reaction is very slow, right? And you might have seen that when you place iron in air, it takes months, right, for the reaction to corrode. For the formation of rust, that brown powder on the surface of iron, it takes months. It doesn't happen immediately in a day or two. It takes months, right? So this reaction is slow. If we talk about the speed, if we study the kinetics of this reaction, we will say this reaction is slow. What about this reaction? This reaction, we said, is explosive. That means the reaction is very fast, right? So this reaction is fast. Now let's talk about the third reaction, the reaction between oxygen and nitrogen, right? So in air we have 80% nitrogen and 20% oxygen approximately, right? And one thing we know, that nitrogen doesn't react with oxygen in air normally, right? And what is the function of nitrogen in air? It dilutes the effect of oxygen, right? If there is no nitrogen in air, everything may catch fire. So it dilutes the effect of oxygen in air, and it doesn't react with oxygen at normal temperature, right, of air. Why? Because we say nitrogen is a triple bonded molecule and it requires a high dissociation energy, or we say the bond dissociation energy of nitrogen is high, very high. That is why nitrogen molecule doesn't dissociate to react with oxygen, right? Nitrogen does not react with oxygen in air because bond dissociation energy is very high for nitrogen. Bond dissociation energy is very high, right? So the reaction does not take place. Nitrogen, we know, is a triple bonded molecule, right? It has 3 bonds, so the bond dissociation energy is very high, due to which it doesn't react with oxygen, right, in air. This is the condition in air. Now let's talk about the reaction of nitrogen and oxygen in automobiles, in vehicles. In the engine, right, these nitrogen and oxygen react to form oxides of nitrogen, right, which gets released in air and which adds to the smog that is in air, right? So it's a pollutant. We know that nitrogen dioxide or oxides of nitrogen are pollutant, right, which affects the smog, right, that is in air. So why the reaction takes place in automobiles and engine? Because of high temperature and pressure. In automobile cylinder, the pressure and temperature is high. Due to the high temperature and pressure, the reactions start taking place between your nitrogen and oxygen, right? So in automobiles, due to high temperature and pressure, right, nitrogen and oxygen react to form nitrogen oxide and other oxides of nitrogen, right? So this nitrogen dioxide that gets released in air, it takes part in the greenhouse effect and your smog, right? So this gets released in air, right? So nitrogen plus oxygen, right, will react to form NO2 in automobiles, NO2 and other oxides of nitrogen in automobiles, right? So why this reaction takes place? Because of high temperature and pressure, right? Normally in air, we don't have this much high temperature and pressure that we have in automobiles, in the cylinder of automobiles. So it doesn't react in air, but it reacts here in cylinder, automobile cylinder. So if we look this reaction from chemical kinetics perspective, we will see that the speed of this reaction was almost not occurring. There is no reaction, so speed is 0 in air. But when in cylinder of automobiles, the rate or the speed of this reaction increases, right, due to high temperature and high pressure. Due to high temperature and high pressure, nitrogen starts reacting with oxygen to form oxides of nitrogen, right? So here the factors that affect the rate of reaction is your high temperature and pressure. Temperature and pressure are the factors that affect the reaction between nitrogen and oxygen, right? And this reaction has started occurring, so the speed of reaction has increased, right? So when we study chemical kinetics, we study the factors that affect the reaction and the speed of reaction, right? That affects the factors that affect the speed of reaction. Here temperature and pressure has affected, right, the reaction between nitrogen and oxygen. Similarly, let's take another example of reaction between hydrogen and chlorine, right? We know that reaction between hydrogen and chlorine doesn't take place in dark, it takes place in diffused sunlight, right? And if you want to react hydrogen and oxygen in dark, you can use activated charcoal or activated carbon, because activated carbon acts as a catalyst and will make hydrogen and chlorine to react, right? What it basically does is, this on activated carbon, hydrogen gets adsorbed, right? So it provides a surface for hydrogen and chlorine to react, right? So here in dark, we say hydrogen and chlorine doesn't react, right? In diffused sunlight, they will start reacting. So here light has caused this reaction. So here the factor that has affected the reaction between hydrogen and chlorine is your sunlight. So this is a photochemical reaction, we say, right? And if there is no sunlight in dark, no reaction. But if we have activated carbon in dark, the hydrogen gets adsorbed on it, right? And hydrogen and chlorine will again start reacting. And here the factor is carbon, activated charcoal or activated carbon, that acts as a catalyst. It provides the surface for these two gases to react, right? So here the factor is catalyst that affects the reaction between hydrogen and chlorine, right? So hydrogen plus chlorine, no reaction in dark, right? If I react the same in sunlight, it will react to form HCl, right? And if it is in dark plus activated carbon or charcoal, it will form 2HCl, right? So here what are the factors that affected the reaction? Factors in this case is your sunlight, right? What might have occurred? In the presence of sunlight, the molecules get excited and will start reacting, right? And in this case, second case, it's catalyst, which is your activated carbon. It's a catalyst, right? And this catalyst provides a surface where hydrogen gets adsorbed, right? So it will react with chlorine to form HCl gas, right? So just look at this reaction from chemical kinetics perspective. The speed of reaction has increased in presence of sunlight or in presence of catalyst, which is your activated carbon, right? Similarly, if we talk about some reactions like reactions of radicals, right? Radicals react very fast because of that unpaired electron they have, right? If this, like methyl, this is a methyl radical, so it will react with another methyl radical to form C2H6, right? Yes, right. So I hope chemical kinetics, its meaning, and it's clear from all these examples. right? So now there are some examples of reactions. If I talk about, there are types of reactions, that there are some very fast reactions, very slow reactions, and moderate reactions, right? Moderate means which are not very fast or not very slow. This reaction comes under the category of slow reactions. Rusting of iron is a slow reaction, right? And this burning of carbon, right, or reaction between carbon and oxygen is your fast reaction, right? Similarly, if we talk about fast reactions, we call these fast reactions as instantaneous reactions, right? There is something known as instantaneous reactions. For example, if you have taken a solution of sodium chloride and you add silver nitrate to it, a precipitate of silver chloride will immediately get formed, or we say it instantly, a precipitate of silver chloride will get formed, right? So silver nitrate will react with solution of sodium chloride, right, to form silver chloride, which is a precipitate, plus sodium nitrate, right? And this precipitate, right, gets formed immediately or instantly. That is why we call it as an instantaneous reaction, because the formation of product is instant, right? And this comes under the category of fast reactions, right? These are fast reactions. And we have seen the slow reactions. So slow reactions we have already discussed is your rusting of iron, right? Rusting of iron is a very slow reaction. If we write the reaction, we are already aware of this reaction from our previous classes. So this is Fe2O3.XH2O, right? This is your hydrated ferric oxide, which is your rust, and this comes under the category of slow reactions, right? Now there is a third category which comes between these two reactions. That third category is your moderate reactions. Moderate reactions. For example, you have done this in organic chemistry, hydrolysis of ethyl acetate or hydrolysis of sucrose. These two are reactions that we generally do in our labs, right? And we can calculate the speed of these reactions. Since they are moderate, you can easily work on these reactions in specific time, right? And you can find the speed of these reactions. Moderate reactions, which are not very fast, not very slow, right? Their speed is in between these two categories, and since these can be easily done in the lab, right, because of their moderate speed, or when you do these reactions in the lab, they takes place at moderate speed, due to which you can find the speed of these reactions, right? So moderate reaction is your hydrolysis of ethyl acetate CH3COO C2H5 plus water. This reaction, if you remember, takes place in the presence of an acid, right? So we have a proton here, so it will form CH3COOH plus C2H5OH, right? Formation of acetic acid and ethanol, right? So this is your hydrolysis of ethyl acetate, right? Or decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, right? Decomposition of hydrogen peroxide also is a moderate reaction, right? So these are moderate reactions, and these reactions, like combination of where these radicals combine, right? These are also very fast reactions, right? Because of these unpaired electron, right? Single electron on the radical, it is very unstable, right? Or we say it's very reactive, due to which it reacts with another radical to pair up this unpaired electron, right? So these are very fast reactions, right? So if you look at these reactions, the reactions that are very fast and the reactions that are very slow, it's difficult to measure the speed of these reactions, right? This reaction is taking place in months, right? And this reaction, formation of silver chloride, is taking place so instantly that you don't have time to find the speed of these reactions, because if you know the speed is, when we calculate, if you talk about the speed of a vehicle, what is the speed of a vehicle? It's this, you calculate the speed with respect to time, right? How will you calculate the speed? If you can find in this much time it travels this much distance, right, for vehicle, then you know that this is what its speed is. So for speed there is a time factor, right? In case of vehicles, when you know that this much distance has been traveled in this much time, you know the speed, right? So in these fast reactions, very fast reactions, you cannot determine the speed because the time is instant, it's instantly reacting, so you cannot take that much time. It doesn't give you time to measure its speed, right? Similarly, these are very slow reactions, it's not possible to calculate their rate. But these reactions like hydrolysis of ethyl acetate or hydrolysis of sucrose or decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, these are moderate reactions, and the speed of these reactions can be calculated in the labs, right? So in chemical kinetics, we would be studying these reactions, right? How to calculate their speed and the factors that affect the speed of reactions, like we studied here. Sunlight, activated charcoal, which is a catalyst, right? Here, high temperature and pressure in the formation of oxides of nitrogen, right? So the study of the speed of reactions and the factors that affect the speed of reaction comes under chemical kinetics, and we would be doing more in future lectures, right? In the next lecture, we will go through the speed, the rate of reaction and the instantaneous rate of reaction, those kind of things, and how to calculate those things from the graph, right? I hope all this is clear to you. Thanks.